Once upon a time in ancient China, in a small village nestled between mountains, there lived a farmer named Chen who dreamed of growing the finest rice in all the land. He had heard stories of the legendary golden rice that grew in the emperor's fields, rice so perfect that each grain shimmered like a jewel. Chen believed that if he could grow such rice, his family would never know hunger again, and his name would be remembered with honor. So Chen worked his small plot of land with great enthusiasm. He prepared the soil, planted the seeds, and waited for the harvest that would change his life. But when the season came, a terrible drought struck the region. The sun blazed without mercy, and the earth cracked like broken pottery. Chen's entire crop withered and died. His neighbors, seeing the devastation, abandoned their fields and left to seek work in distant cities, but Chen remained. The following year, Chen planted again. This time, he dug deeper wells and worked even harder. But just as the rice began to grow, a plague of locusts descended upon the valley like a dark cloud. In a single day, they devoured everything green. Once again, his harvest was destroyed. The few villagers who remained shook their heads and told Chen, "The heavens have decided against you. It is time to accept your fate and move on." But Chen smiled quietly and said, "Perhaps, but I will plant again tomorrow." Year after year, disaster followed Chen. Floods washed away his fields. Harsh winters froze his crops. Disease weakened his body. Each time, the obstacles seemed to grow larger, the path forward more impossible. People began to call him foolish. They said he was wasting his life chasing an unattainable dream. Even his own family questioned his stubborn refusal to quit. Yet every spring, without fail, Chen returned to his field and planted new seeds. 10 years passed, then 20. Chen's hair turned gray, his back became bent from labor, but his hands never stopped moving. And then, one year, something remarkable happened. The rains came at the right time. The sun warmed the earth gently. No locusts appeared. No floods destroyed his work. For the first time in 2 decades, Chen's rice grew tall and strong. When harvest came, the grains were unlike anything the region had ever seen. Golden, perfect, shimmering in the sunlight, just as the legends described. Word spread quickly, and soon people came from distant provinces to see Chen's miraculous rice. The emperor himself sent officials to learn Chen's secret. They asked him, "What technique did you use? What special knowledge allowed you to grow such perfection?" Chen looked at his weathered hands and replied, "I have no secret technique. I simply never stopped planting. While others waited for perfect conditions, I worked. While others gave up after failure, I began again." The rice you see today is not the result of one good season. It is the result of 20 seasons of refusing to surrender. This story reveals a truth about human nature that most people struggle to accept. We believe that success should come quickly, that our efforts should be rewarded immediately, and that persistence without visible results is foolish. But Chen understood something deeper. He knew that the true measure of strength is not how well you perform when everything goes right, but whether you continue when everything goes wrong. He discovered, as the ancient sages taught, that the universe does not reward the talented or the lucky, it rewards the relentless. The great Chinese philosopher Confucius once said, "It does not matter how slowly you go, as long as you do not stop." This was not empty encouragement. It was a fundamental truth about how mastery is built. The farmer who plants seeds every day, even when the harvest seems impossible, develops something more valuable than a single crop. He develops an unbreakable spirit. He builds the strength to endure what would break lesser men. And eventually, when conditions finally align, he is the only one still standing in the field, ready to receive the harvest. Think about the difference between Chen and his neighbors. They all faced the same disasters, the same droughts, the same locusts, the same floods. But while others saw each failure as a sign to quit, Chen saw each failure as preparation for eventual success. His neighbors treated adversity as a message from fate. Chen treated it as a test of his commitment, and that difference in perspective changed everything. This is the secret that separates those who achieve greatness from those who live with regret. It is not intelligence, it is not talent, it is not even hard work alone. It is the refusal to interpret failure as a final answer. It is the ability to see each setback not as a closed door, but as a lesson that brings you closer to the breakthrough. The ancient Chinese had a saying, "Fall 7 times, stand up 8." This was not just about physical resilience, it was about mental endurance. Because the greatest battle is not against external obstacles, it is against the voice inside your mind that whispers, "This is too hard, you should quit, you are not strong enough." That voice appears after every failure, growing louder with each setback. The difference between Chen and his neighbors was not that Chen never heard that voice, it was that he refused to obey it. Chen understood a principle that modern society has forgotten. Progress is not linear. Success does not arrive on a schedule. The path to mastery is a winding road, filled with detours, dead ends, and steep climbs. Most people give up, not because the goal is impossible, but because the timeline is longer than they expected. They plant seeds and expect a harvest in weeks. When months pass with no visible growth, they assume the seeds are dead. But beneath the surface, roots are forming, strength is building, the breakthrough is preparing itself. So, when you face your own droughts and locusts, when your efforts seem to produce nothing but failure, remember Chen standing alone in his field. Remember that every person who achieved something worth remembering faced years that tested their resolve. The musician who practiced scales until their fingers bled, the writer who filled notebooks with terrible drafts, the athlete who trained while others slept. They all had moments where quitting seemed rational, but they planted again anyway. The lesson is clear. Giving up is easy. Anyone can quit when the path becomes difficult. But the ones who refuse to surrender, who return to the work even after devastating failure, who plant seeds in the same field that betrayed them before, these are the ones who eventually stand in fields of gold, while others stand in empty dirt, wondering what could have been. So, ask yourself, will you be the neighbor who plants once and leaves? Or will you be Chen, standing in your field year after year, planting seeds even when logic says to stop? The choice has has always been yours.